Hello there. Today I wanted to take a look at a Syrah from the Northern Rhone. So I have here a Crozes Hermitage, it's the 2021 vintage, from a producer called Yann Chave. So Yann evidently is unrelated to the slightly more famous producer of Hermitage, Jean-Louis Chave, nonetheless a highly respected winemaker for this area. It's a relatively new domain, in fact. His parents, Nicole and Bernard, bought their first vineyards in 1970 when they purchased 4 hectares in Mercurol in Crozes Hermitage. Evidently at that stage only 1 hectare of the land they bought was actually in vine, and the balance was orchards. And they very, very slowly worked their way up to own more vineyards. In 1983 they commenced work on building a winery, but they really did have to work very hard in as much as that they were up until 1996 when Yann joined his parents working in the winery. They were always selling their wines off to negociants. They made the wine themselves, but they didn't bottle it under their name. So as I say, anyway, in 1996 that all changed, and Yann gradually took over the winery. In 2003 a new winery was opened, so there was plenty of development going on there, and they expanded their vineyard holdings, and today they have 15.5 hectares of vines in Crozes Hermitage and a rather special 1.5 hectare plot on the Hermitage Hill itself. In combination with some vineyards that they lease from growers, in total the domain works about 20 hectares of vines. Fruit for this particular Crozes Hermitage, they do also make a single vineyard iteration of Crozes Hermitage, but fruit for this wine comes from 3 villages: La Roche de Glun, Mercurol and Pointe de l'Isère. And evidently this combination of villages is felt to give a good indication of the flavours that come from Crozes Hermitage as a whole. The vineyards are entirely farmed and managed organically, and actually the wine is certified as such. On the back label there's a Bio-Grow emblem. The wine is made from 100% Syrah, and there are no inputs whatsoever as far as the winemaking is concerned. So the wine ferments with the native yeasts that find their way into the winery on the fruit. Fermentation is kept relatively cool. Temperatures for fermentation and maceration range between about 20 and 26 degrees C. And extraction is kept quite gentle, and all they will do to manage extraction is pumping over. They feel that's the gentlest way by which they can extract. So that's the approach chosen. At the end of fermentation and maceration, the wine is racked but back into vats. These are stainless steel tanks, and it's there that the wine continues to age for 10 months until it's bottled and then sent to market. So let's have a look at the wine, shall we? The wine has a relatively dark ruby red. It's medium, maybe medium to deep in terms of colour, but it's not particularly dark. I can see through it relatively easily. There are notes of black purple to the rim, but not bluish purple, so it's not showing extreme notes of youthfulness there. So let's see what we make of the aromas, shall we? There is plenty going on the nose there. You've got a powerful spiciness, you have meaty touches, you have slightly milky touches, and there's a lovely pure red fruit comes through as well. There's a good concentration on that. So let's have a taste, shall we? On the palate, that starts off with actually better acidity than expected. There's a lovely fresh red fruit. It's clean raspberries. There's a richness to it. It's sort of boysenberries. The wine, according to its label, has alcohol of 13%. And while that is providing some weight and richness to the mid-palate, it's certainly not sufficient to overpower the relatively ripe, juicy fruit. And the fruit's being lifted quite nicely by that acidity. The acidity is also sort of picking out some lovely sweet spice, cinnamon, nutmeg, cedar notes on the finish, where there's a little bit of drying tannin. This isn't a wine that's been aged in oak, it's just spent 10 months in tank. And I think what I'm seeing is there is this lovely freshness of the fruit, both on the attack and on the finish. That's not making it simplistic though, because there is a lovely tannic structure. There's some quite fine, perhaps slightly cedary natured perhaps a tiny touch chocolatey and smooth. There's a nice intensity to the wine on its mid-palate. I would think probably leaving this 3 or 4 years would bring it to a stage where it was at its ideal drinking, but it's very pleasant now, as long as you don't mind that sort of peppery, sweet spice notes on the back there. It's not particularly astringent. You have got this lovely, ripe, perhaps dark cherry. I was saying raspberry earlier, but it's darker than that. It's dark cherry to boysenberry to mulberry, those sorts of notes. There's a good intensity, there's nice length, and the acidity does continue to show on the wine right up until the end of the palate. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you found it of interest, do please like and share. Do please consider sending the video to your friends. But most importantly, do please try and find some time and come and join us in the near future for a tasting, won't you? Thanks again. Bye for now.